Sigaw kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpa at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pwera. Tunong at tulong, ipagtablo, igil, galing, hiting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, katipunan, radyo, katipunan, radyo, katipunan.
Mga Katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM.
Level up!
Anyway, okay. So all good already, all the best. As our continuing effort toward healing and moving forward, we in Level Up, in Radyo Katipunan, are featuring people na tumindig, katulad nating lahat. No? So, and in the process, we'll try to navigate our way towards a unified action and towards healing na rin. So, here are two people I stood with. Parang, kasama kong tumindig during the campaign. We'll try to process the experiences that we went through. First up, siguro, age and beauty. so be the one to like tell us about your graduation name. Kasi, di ba, time naman ng graduation ngayon. And your year, the course, and the year you graduated. So, Miss Mela Habijan, hello.
Magandang hapon, Ninong Noel, at magandang hapon.
Kung kanino man siya mapunta, sana deserving. Okay?
Amen. I just can't wait to walk down the aisle. Nakasama ka sa ceremony. Hopefully si Chris Evans.
Sa Batangas or sa Baguio. Diba? So yun. Tingnan muna natin. Anyway,
may dumagdag na candidate from Canada. Canada pala!
Okay, so ang layo. Dami na. Anyway, so here you graduated in what course?
Yes po, I am Mela Habijan, 34 years old, AB Communication Batch 2008. Represent!
I love!
So, before Thanksgiving rally or gathering tayo sa Ateneo, when was the last time you were in campus?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I think I was there in 2019. I was there in 2019 to
For what?
get something. Either
something?
No. I actually hosted for an Ignatian gathering of student leaders under Sir Tats. Yun ata yung last ko, Ninong Noel.
Sa student activities. No?
Yes, good. Student activities. So
we kind of miss Ateneo. It's our safe refuge. No? Parang if there's anything happening, kung may turmoil man sa labas, parang yun yung natin safe refuge and safe haven na binabalik-balikan. Now, here's a really good friend that we rediscovered during the rally. And what nga, parang may support system yung mga artists. And now, gusto nating malaman yung totoo niyang pangalan, number one. And now, we were all surprised when he told us his course and where in the world, in the realm that he's like trying to make a name for himself. So, Ian Pangilinan's here with us. Thank you, Ian.
Hello. What's up? Hi guys, I'm Ian Panglinan. Graduated 2019 from BS Management Engineering.
So, pwede naman mag-on ng camera, di ba, Ian? So, go.
There.
Okay.
What's up? I'm in my car.
Thank you, Ian. But okay, so ME doing entertainment, media, showbiz
Yes,
world.
exactly.
Is it something you planned really, or you like envision yourself to get into?
No, I mean, ever since I was a kid, naman, I always thought na movies and like TV shows were the greatest
Okay.
thing that ever happened. You know, I
Okay.
love them. I love them. I always
Okay.
like saw myself in the characters. Like loved every single like story. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So growing up, I really wanted to be a part of the industry. Pero syempre, um, you never know what will happen, and it's good to have different skills, different
Yeah.
backgrounds in whatever field you want to come into. And management engineering being a very hard course, sabi ko sa sarili ko,
Yeah.
kung kung makaya to, kakayanin yung industriya. So,
Correct. Correct.
ayun.
Correct. Pero yun nga, parang pareho kayo, no? Si Mela naman galing communications, and
Mm.
now she's exploring a career in hosting, no? And then parang
Yes.
trying to represent a certain sector and advocating for SOG rights. Ikaw naman, well, you're trying to find your voice in the industry. Voice meaning you're into music and you're
Mhm.
also into like television and eventually
Yes.
parang probably doing film. So
Mhm.
um let's try to go back to your involvement in the campaign.
Yeah.
Gaano ka-importante sa inyo to make a stand during that time? And how did you get there? So, parang nakita natin yung slew of artists trying to commit to causes or to certain personalities during the campaign. What made you try, or what made you like commit to this cause, to this movement that we had? Sino?
Hello?
Hi, go.
Well, definitely, I put my heart into it because I believed in VP Lenny.
Mhm.
I not only because I have a personal relationship with ICAP, but because I saw how valuable a leader she has been to the country. She
Okay.
ran in 2016. I participated in her campaign in my own way because I also ran back then here in Marikina. So I had my own ways of campaigning for her. But this 2022 was a pivotal moment on my end, Ninong, because the desire for me to just simply make her win was so strong because I've seen her in the 6 years of her journey as vice president, how efficient, how effective, and how transparent she has been as a leader. And it's very, very important, most especially in these trying times in the middle of the pandemic. And we just simply want a government that functions, a government that delivers. And naniniwala ako na yung pagbibigay ko ng panahon, pagbibigay ko ng talento is instrumental. Maybe, hopefully, to the people who follow me, to my family, to friends, to people who know of me. Kasi yung passion na makikita nila sa bawat binibigay mo, maaaring maka-impluwensya yon in their decision making.
It's an extension of what you represent, no? Parang, and also kaya people are heartbroken like us, no? Kasi it was the thing that we wanted for society to have, no? Parang later I'll tell you parang the level of brokenness that we all have, at kailangan natin i-process yun. Iyan, ikaw parang did you think of your like reputation as an actor na maaga pa lang mamamarkahan ka na in the industry, and then eventually parang okay yung repercussion nga in case matalo, parang how will that impact your career? So
Yes, exactly. I mean, like, I think that's the thought process na exactly people think about as an artist, which, like, which prevents a lot of people from speaking out. Pero, like, at the end of the day, I always try to, like, stay true to, like, why I entered the industry in the first place, which is, hopefully make an impact in, like, whichever way I can. And for me, I think I want to do that through the arts, right? Like to make nice movies, to create all of these shows, these movies na parang people can find a safe haven in. And parang I took pride in that, right? Even during the times that I was like doing musicals and plays, that's always why we want to like do justice to our characters. Because somebody out there might feel like, oh, that character represents me, that character represents my cousins, my family, those that are important to them. And going into the campaign, parang that same
What was the
spirit of
turning
like,
point for you? What was the turning point for you when you finally decided now I'm throwing myself into campaigning for VP?
ayun, I mean, like, it's the same concept of parang like doing things because you believe na it's gonna create a good impact in society. And for me, primarily, si Lenny talaga was my number one choice, like ever since. Because yung pinaka tumatak sa akin na moment, I think, like, I could list all of her credentials, I could list everything, but then yung moment na parang there are calamities happening and she's always there, like makikita mo na parang somebody like her, she's not just all about talk, she she walks the walk, you know what I mean. And to have somebody like that is, sana what I would have loved to fight for like X number of years.
And you're a first time voter?
Yes, first time voter this term. Yeah.
Yeah, para rin transparent, you're also Bicolano or your family's from Bicol. So
Yes, my mom's side is Bicolano.
So did it play a role in your trying to like size her up as a leader, or parang secondary na yan? It's really what she stood for.
I honestly didn't like think much about that aspect of
Okay.
it. Kasi parang at the end of the day, like yung convictions mo and like what I believed in was a good leader was yun,
Okay.
si Lenny talaga.
Okay.
I think to vote based off of just, I guess like because parang ito yung gusto ni mama. I think parang we should like take care to like think a bit more about like like not just blindly voting. So yun.
Yeah. But did you have problems with the family or distant family relatives na iba yung persuasion?
Of course, we try to create discourse with everybody, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody has their own viewpoint naman. Everybody has this place where
Para
they're
sa
coming.
talaga nag-oral exams, Melon. Okay.
No, but then
Okay.
it doesn't make naman the thought any less true. Parang
Okay.
like at the end of the day, everybody really like is coming from somewhere, and you try to address yung mga issues and points from where they are coming from.
Okay.
Yun talaga.
Nella, what were your considerations? Did you have friends who were from the other camp? Kasi yun, I have. At ang hirap, no? Parang, and one of the things we have to consider sa moving forward natin and in trying to heal is how to deal with those friends na nandun sa kabilang camp.
We have friends who supported the other camp. As much as it breaks my heart, I think it also boils down with the fact that we also try to communicate why we are supporting VP Lenny in a manner that they won't feel that you're intruding into their decision making.
Yes, exactly.
Because I think, Ninong Noel, that's very important because I know that these friends of mine will always have their right to choosing the leader that they want and they deem to be beneficial for the country. Yun nga lang, may mga punto sa buhay nila na may mga nag-share ng fake news, meron mga nag-share talaga ng mga condescending comments. Doon talaga ako pumapasok at mini-message ko sila personally. Sinasabi ko talaga na alam ko na supporter ka niya, pero nagsishare ka ng fake news at ito hindi ko mapapayagan. At malinaw naman yon sa kanila na yun yung lagi kong pinanggagalingan. There's always respect with why they want to vote for the candidate that they desired. But at the end of the day, if they are sharing things that can actually harm other people and influence them because of that harm, doon ako papasok. Kasi definitely ang laban naman talaga natin ay hindi lang laban ng dalawang personalidad, kung hindi paglaban sa kung ano ang katotohanan at kung ano ang kasinungalingan. At sadya lamang talaga na naging malakas itong laban na ito because of social media movements right now. On my end, Ninong, I guess the most important consideration for me is how these candidates would address LGBTQ plus community because that's definitely one of the deciding factors. On top yon of my list. And I saw how VP Lenny stood by us, most especially when she was in Congress and as Vice President herself. Imagine legislating anti-discrimination ordinance during her time. That's very, very valuable on my end because OJ Equality Bill hasn't been passed for the past 22 years. And I wanted someone who would actually pursue that route in including LGBTQ plus people in legislation, in being protected and living in a safe Philippines. And malinaw naman doon sa naratibo na nagpakita ng desire for inclusion, for respect for diversity si VP Lenny. Kaya doon pa lang hamig na ako sa ating labang ito.
Okay. Parang the consultation sa mga sectors, talagang ibang klase, no? Talagang attuned siya sa mga views ng lahat ng mga na nasa sector. Ian, ikaw, this will be a good parang Bible probably or a guide for those people who have friends from the other side. After the elections, what's the dynamic now? Parang are you still friends with those people or merong reservation?
I think the most important talaga right now, based off of how I've been like talking with a lot of friends and family, is really fighting the disinformation. Kasi parang you can form whatever opinion you want as long as totoo you know what I mean? Parang talagang based off of real things that happened, facts, yung opinion na na-form mo. Pero nagiging sobrang mahirap to engage with somebody when parang they believe na something that is fabricated is true. Because that means na parang it's so hard to reason out na parang, okay, this is what my candidate stands for. She really did it. And I'm sorry, pero like some of the stuff na you believe may not necessarily be, like 100% accurate. And parang ang extra step rin dun is to, of course, not be like very condescending about like trying to tell people na parang like to get nicer news sources for their information. It's really an effort of like trying to like help each other like get like good information and good sources of information. So yun, it's really about respect and like fighting for the truth. Yun.
And for us talaga to become truth tellers, to continue being truth tellers.
Exactly.
Lahat ng gagawin natin, no? Pas yun talaga yung pinangahawakan natin. Let's try to go back to the campaign. How was it like? And was it the thing that you expected from the campaign? Why was there that such a growing parang commitment talaga? Yung tipong tapang lubog na lubog tayo doon sa campaign and us wanting to be part of every campaign na after the first that we attended. Walk us through your commitment there. And ano yung nagtatak sa inyo na hindi nyo makakalimutan? Na sortie. And what does it impact on you?
I think to answer siguro, like, I'll take the first blow.
Yeah, go.
I think regarding yung question of like, was it what I expected? I think in a lot of ways, yes. Because, like, knowing yung track record and yung general way ni Miss Lenny Robredo to like, treating people, being able to talk to like every kind of like person. She is very warm in how she does it, and she is very welcome.
Ang swerte mo kasi parang this is your first campaign. We've been used to, si Mela tumakbo, di ba? Nag-run siya sa Marikina. Ibang-iba to sa traditional campaign. Ibang-iba talaga iyan. And then, yung leader na parang rockstar yung dating na lahat volunteers. Iba talaga. So it was something galing, no? Kung yun yung konsepto mo of a people's campaign and your expectations were met, parang okay, yun pala yung ang ganda, ang progressive ng in-expect mo dun sa campaign.
Mm-hmm. It's sorry, let me just fix my light real quick.
Naku, may kasama siya sa loob ng kotse ng mga kaibigan. So tignan natin yung picture, di ba? Anyway, how was it? Well, si Mela muna, when you first campaigned, it was different, I guess. No?
It was different in 2016, Ninong, because somehow she was introducing herself.
Yeah.
Dahil hindi siya kilala ng madla. Pero what's so important for me is I saw the same sipag, 'di ba? Na ginawa niya noong 2016. Yun din yung sipag na nakita natin dito ngayon. Ang biro ko nga sa kanya pag nakikita ko siya, Tita Lenny, ba't lagi mong fresh? Kasi parang siya lang yung hindi nahuhulas sa campaign. And in the middle, kami parang pawis na, ganyan. Siya, fresh pa rin siya sa kalagitnaan ng mga sorties na ang dami-dami pa niyang pinupuntahan. Sobrang inspiring ng kasipagan ni VP Lenny. At yun yung isa sa mga babaunin ko. Ang biro nga natin, di ba? Yes, kung kaya ni VP Lenny na hindi mapagod, dapat kaya din natin. And I guess, kaya rin siguro ako nag-commit. Sabi ko sa sarili ko no, Ninong, for 3 months, hindi muna ako magtatanggap ng racket. I'll focus on the campaign. That's what I promised myself. I'm gonna involve myself in the campaign in whichever form. And yun, pag pinatawag tayong mag-host on stage, go. Pag pinatawag tayo to do a video, go. Pag pinatawag tayo to do house-to-house, go. Yeah. Or kaya mag-i-initiate ng own house-to-house endeavor. Yung mga ganitong uri ng pangangampanya. We really involved ourselves in every single day nga that passed during the campaign. Ang pinaka hindi ko malilimutan siguro, 3 bagay. Yung una is yung unang beses ko siyang nayakap muli sa Bohol.
I saw that.
Yes. Yeah. I think meron talagang magical moment pag nakahag ka ni VP Lenny at hindi lang ako yung testigo noon, because a lot of people will always say para kang kinomfort ng isang ina. At meron talagang power yung warm embrace ni VP Lenny. Number 2, in Rizal, I remember this distinctly. Ang lakas-lakas ng ulan, buong araw umuulan. And then, when she was about to step on stage, all of a sudden, biglang nawala yung ulan. It's as if a miracle just happened, and it did happen. At sabi nga nung iba, naku, hindi lang yun yung first time na nangyari na bago siya sumampa on stage, mawawala talaga yung ulan. So, yun yung pangalawang instance. And yung pangatlo, yung chikahan sa backstage in which the artist volunteers will always tell, alam mo dati, hindi mo mapaghihintay ang mga artista sa likod ng backstage. More so, magbibilang sila ng oras, kailan ba ako sasampa, etc., etc. Ngayon, nag-uunahan yung mga volunteer artists na magpa-schedule. Tapos, tatapusin nila yung buong programa by the moment that they arrive, tatapusin nila yon hanggang sa dulo. And number 3, yun nga, the bond that we have formed as volunteers, hindi ko naman sukat akalain na makakabond ko si Jolina Magdangal, si Nikki Valdez, si Angel Aquino, at si Cherry Pie Picache. Ikaw, Ninong Noel, who would have thought that we would form this bond? Diba? And that's one of the gifts of this campaign. We formed friendships that we didn't know we will be forming, and it's all grounded on love for our country.
Oh, that's true. I had River Maya last week, and then they were saying, little did they know that they would bond with fellow artists and have collabs with them. Yun talagang ibang klase talaga. Yung mga idols natin na Gary V, sina Regine, sina Eve Dancel, parang nakakasama mo lang sila. Na even OG Diaz and Mama Loy, parang nandun, available yung mga tao at napakabait lang talaga ng lahat. So Ian, ikaw, ano yung hindi mo kakalimutan? So top the 3 instances kung oral exams yan.
I think yun it's a lot of the same with Simela. Yung general warmth of people in the campaign. It's like you get there and everybody is greeting each other, everybody's introducing each other to one another. Everybody is there talking about like how much they're excited to be part of the campaign. And it's coming from a genuine place. Alam mo yun? It's coming from a place of genuinely wanting to help. And in general kasi when we talk about, volunteer work for like all of these different things, um it's rare to find it's rare to find I guess people who are so aligned in what
That's
they
true.
believe in, who
That's
are so passionate about what they believe in, and it's so refreshing to see. It's so nakakataba ng puso kasi you really feel like, wow, you are part of like trying to do genuine good in the country. Alam mo
that's
yun?
true.
Parang
Support group
yun.
we want. No? Even Ateneans na after mo mag-graduate, parang gusto mo meron kang ganong support group. And suddenly, we have that kind of a support group.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ninong, makwento ko lang because I also experienced being in the audience sa Pasig.
Okay.
Yung nakakatuwa sa Pasig, as an audience ito, siksikan tayong lahat, pinagpapawisan, 'di ba? Pero alam mo yung feeling na kahit siksikan tapos yung pawis ng kabila ng katabi mo ay napupunta sa iyo. Sa unang experience mo noon, ang normal na pakiramdam ay maiinis ka.
Yeah,
Pero
may
dito,
COVID pa, di ba?
correct.
Pero ngayon,
You're there. Tapos na-appreciate mo yung lahat na una, kahit siksikan, ang saya-saya. Number two, we share whatever we have. Whether it be
Yes.
food, tissue, extra shirt. Everyone was just simply sharing and hugging each other sa kabila ng pawis. And then, sabay-sabay nagcha-chant. During the program, kahit pag-exit, magcha-chant din siya. Ang sabi ko nga noon, after ng Pasig, it felt like I was in a Pride March because every Pride March, you'll always have that feeling of camaraderie from LGBTQ plus people na hindi nagtatarayan, kung di magkakaibigan at nagmamahalan lahat. The same vibe also happened during the Pasig rally, and I will never forget that. Ang bait-bait ng lahat ng tao, hindi naiirita at hindi nagkakasamaan ng loob kahit naaapakan yung paa, kahit ang siksikan, everyone is just really kind.
Yeah, parang it's a society we want to have.
Yeah, exactly. And to
Yeah.
add lang, like you're not even scared of somebody fainting because everybody there, whenever somebody is naiinitan or alam mo yun, malapit ng mahimatay, talagang nagtatawag sila ng medic, they make space, they do everything na like sobrang ibang klase talaga yung yung level of I guess yung alaga na you feel in the audience. Yeah.
First-hand experience mo meron. Pero mamaya ako sasabihin yan. Pero, reality check. Well, the real talk na at this point. Ano getting reports about the numbers during the elections, how did you react? When things were not going to our favor.
Ang biro mo ngayon, Nino.
Yeah. Kasi you go back to that moment, no?
Oo.
Ako, I telling people, alam mo yung malungkot ka, nagulat, pero hindi mo maiiyak? Yun talaga ako. Parang, yung lungkot, alam mo malungkot ka, pero, there's an actor also, Ian, no? Yung tipong, that's a state of mind you're in, alam mo malungkot, pero hindi mo ma-externalize kasi hindi mo maintindihan ano nararamdaman mo. Parang,
exactly, yeah. I guess for me, of course, it was more than the sadness or anything else, parang yung pagkasayang. Kasi nandyan na eh. Alam mo yun?
I wanna catch that. Yung pag-share ko actually, yun yung tama ka, panghihinayang dahil ito, on my part, siguro, dahil the change that we wanted may not happen na in our lifetime. Kasi mas matanda naman ako sa inyo. Parang may gano'n, ha? The brokenness of young people like you, iba naman. Yung tipong, I hear, the young volunteers saying, oh sir, kala ko, hindi mananalo yung kasinungalingan. Sir, how do you answer those? Parang, ang laki ng pangyayari.
Yun nga eh, like that was exactly what I was thinking about like the entire time. And I guess yung pinaka moment for me na I had this like I guess turning point na okay. Sige, like we'll be all right. Is once again from si VP Lenny when she announced na alam mo yun, we're still gonna continue efforts. We are still gonna continue to be kind. We're still gonna continue to be, you know, like helping people in whatever way we can. Doon ko nalaman na parang, okay, hindi pa tapos. Hindi pa tapos. Alam mo yun. Like somebody said nga na parang, like, let's feel everything na we need to feel na. Iiyak mo yan, isigaw mo yan kung kailangan mo. Pero tomorrow, we will go again. We will go forth. We will fight. We will love again.
Correct. So that's important. On the acknowledgement of what you feel. Mela, how did you deal with it?
Ang biro ko, Ninong, losing the elections turned me into an alcoholic. Because I don't drink. I mean, I drink once in a while, and most of my friends know na pag uminom ako, I'm a very, very controlled drinker. Pero
last IG stories mo, nagwawala ka.
Yes.
Mga buhok-buhok. So
correct.
So manifestation yun ng on how you're dealing with it.
Yes, I guess I needed the space in which I need company. I was with our fellow volunteers for 2 weeks. As in straight days. I was with Ian, with Kerwin, with AC, with Nino, with B-Boy, with sila EJ, with sila Rafi. Nagsasama-sama to just simply magkwentuhan tayo. Even if it's not election related.
Yeah.
Magtatawanan tayo. Maglo-look back tayo doon sa mga happy moments na pinagsama-sama tayo. And yun yung coping mechanism to just
yun, di ba?
Yes. Yeah. Because you need to share your grief with other people because it's so heartbreaking. I remember that I was at a loss of words for words nung nakikita kong shucks ang laki ng lamang.
Totoo
ang
yun.
laki-laki ng lamang talaga. And nung lumabas na yung 60% of the votes, hindi na talaga ako nagsasalita, Ninong. As in, knowing me na ang hilig-hilig kong magsalita, rare are the moments na mapapatahimik ako. And that's one of which. And then a friend invited me over. Sabi niya, gusto mo bang uminom? And then, nagkita-kita kami sa restaurant niya at doon nagkaroon ng hagulgul session.
Talaga yung coping.
Yes, coping na parang tara iinom na lang natin. Although sinabi ko naman talaga beforehand, manalo o matalo, iiyak tayo at iinom tayo. Kung anumang uri ng iyak at inom yon, nasa resulta na lang ng eleksyon yon.
No? So si Ian may levels pa of meaning pag iyak pag artista ka. No? But the real talk ulit, saan tayo nagkulang? Ang hirap niyan, no? Pero merong nagsasabi kinulang tayo ng oras. Merong nagsasabi kasi ang hirap kasi ang aga nila nag-start. Dati pa sila nag-start. Pero looking back, what could we have done more? Or how could we have done it better?
On my end, looking back, Ninong, I think it's also not a matter of time, but how we dealt with this information. Because during the season in which we saw how they worked, 2016 elections, nagkaroon na ng parang bursting of videos, of narratives, trying to change whatever history we know of or we've learned.
Yeah.
Doon pa lang, makikita natin doon sa conversation na pag troll, hindi mo dapat yan kinakausap. Hindi mo yan dapat nire-reactan. Wag mo silang reactan. Pero naging victims tayo of that narrative because the moment that we ignored them and not reacted to them, may mga taong na madali nilang napaniwala
Yes.
Just because nakita, sila naman yung nakakita nun. Hindi man tayo yung direct na naapektuhan, but those who were actually vulnerable to the information, to the disinformation that they were promulgating, yun yung hindi natin na control. And that being said, na-ingrain siya in the minds of other Filipinos, and I'm saddened by it. So anong gagawin natin ngayon? Let's react even to trolls, and let's stop them from promulgating these information na kasinungalingan, mapanira, at hindi naman nakatutulong sa ating pag-unlad because mas malakas yung pwersa nila ngayon.
Okay.
Kaya now more than ever, we have to respond and be vigilant of whatever information that we see on social media, and hopefully itong movement natin of togetherness that we experienced in the rallies, in the campaign season, sana yung pagkakaisa na yon maidala natin sa kung anumang laban against disinformation ang maganap in the next 6 years.
Isang palaban na Mela na ready for mature roles yung makikita natin. But Ian, I wanna confirm this with you. You being like really good in numbers, no? Paano yun? Parang we saw really a lot of people in the rallies, but then it seemed like they're not engaged. They're really not engaged of the voters that we were trying to target. I want you to like pose an answer there. Were you ever carried away by the crowd, by the optics of having a big crowd? Tapos kaya siguro isa sa pinagtataka natin, parang ang dami naman natin kasama sa Pampanga, sa ganito. Tapos sinasabi pa nila, babawi tayo or ipapanalo ka namin. Tapos biglang, nasan sila ngayon? Pati sa Cavite. Di ba? These are the crowds that they promise us to deliver the votes. Did they succumb to like machinery or money?
Well, ako no, I'm not gonna pretend to be like a political analyst or anything like that.
Yeah.
Pero I think in line rin with getting our information from like credible sources, let's also like pay attention rin to yung the numbers that are flowing in as the campaign period is happening. Alam mo yun, we can deny all of the numbers all we want, pero at the end of the day, if that's what's showing, then baka that's really what it's showing. And instead of focusing on trying to say na, oh, that's fake, that's whatever. If it's a trusted source, let's think about what we can do to change those numbers.
Pinastop niya si Mama
Just focus on how to improve those numbers rather than like, I suppose, rely lang on what we see in our like on like siguro what we want to believe, So yeah.
That's true. Because at a certain point, parang sinasabi na, parang mas marami naman tayo sa survey.
Yeah.
At a certain point, that I know si VP Lenny naman was really attuned to reality at alam niya rin yung science and numbers. Lalo ka na siguro iyan, na ME ka. No? Pero parang, let's be guided by that, but then hindi din tayo nagpatigil. So, how did you cope? So, alcohol. Iyan, ikaw? Ano yung pwede mo advice sa mga tao hindi pa nakaka-get over?
Ang sabi nga ng friends ko, like post-election loss, I've been sort of okay naman, pero 90% of the time I'm not sober. So nakakatawa. Okay. But then, I think siguro like ways to cope is na just know it's not the end. Alam mo yan?
Okay.
There's still so many more fights na we have to like fight. There's so many ways that we can still help. There's still so many people that we can help. So ayun, it doesn't end there.
Ang galingan. Other things, parang nasa verge ng burnout yung mga tao, Mela. Ano yung suggestion mo sa mga taong gano'n? Yun yung pinagdadaanan. What do you tell people now? How do you like help them process what they're going through after the election loss?
It's very important for us to pause and appreciate this moment of grief because that's what hurt people do. we're bleeding, and we acknowledge that we're very, very much wounded. At lahat naman ng taong nasusugatan sa kahit na anong digmaan, kailangan muna nating maghilom at magpagaling bago tayo lumabang muli. So I think it's impossible for us to fight, knowing the fact na masakit yung loob at at sugatan tayo, duguan tayo. So let's take this moment to rest our minds and our spirits, and be stronger again as we heal. Naniniwala naman ako na hindi natin bibitawan itong labang ito. Sadya lang talaga na kailangan natin itong oras na ito para magproseso at pagalingin ang anumang sugat that these elections cost us. So I won't take it against people na hindi muna nagso-social media or hindi muna nag-uusap-usap about politics. I won't take it against people who just simply want to protect their peace. Kasi at this point, pero magkakaroon muli ng moment in which we will converge, and we will show the Filipino people that our desire for good governance, an honest government, and a government that works will be there and will remain. Excited ako personally sa pagsisimula ng Angat Buhay Foundation, and definitely I'm gonna be a volunteer for that. At doon ko itututok yung enerhiya once na ako ay maghilom. Today, I'm busy with the Pride Month at yun yung nagsisilbing coping mechanism that I'm doing something right now. So I guess let's find those sources of energies and hopes that we once had as we heal, because this will actually make us a stronger person with perspectives and values that these elections actually inculcated in us. Whether it be candle making or crocheting or kung ano man. Yung iba nga, may nagpapatuloy pa rin yung business ng kanilang mga kakamping endeavors. Supportahan natin yun. Mga ganun po.
Supporting brother. No, but, well, ang ganda lang nito, parang, ano yung bisa ngayon ng pagiging media personality, Mela? Ano yung, well, what's the whole sense of being a media personality at this particular time na pwede mong gamitin or pwede mong explore, lalo na kakaiba yung pinagdadaanan natin bilang bansa at bilang tao rin?
I'm sorry, personal ventures?
Well, sa'yo, iba yata, no? Iyan, ano yung visa? What's the relevance if you're being an actor now, or being an entertainer now, or being in media now? Given the situation, given the context and the backdrop that we have after this political exercise.
Well, I suppose
Sabi nila, the best films now were done during that time when there was, diba? Parang
yes, during wars.
Yeah, inequality, kung ganun klase. So, exciting actually, no? Pero it's looking for relevance in what you do. So did you ever question your involvement in a bigger context, in a bigger society now? Kasi hindi dapat tumigil yon. So how do you give that relevance to what you're doing? Or nasa pause mode pa rin kayo?
Well, I think as more a general statement, parang it's so easy to like get tired and like siguro just be like, hey, I did what I could do. So suko na ako. So I think
bata nyo para sumuko, no?
Oo. Parang yun, like as a general thing, siguro parang may kaya pa eh. Parang may kaya pang ilabas na magandang pelikula. May maganda pang kayang i-volunteer. May kaya pang ipaglaban. Katulad nga ni Miss Mela. Pride Month is there. Let's share love, even if siguro in this election we chose love, and maybe it wasn't the time yet. And the next one, we still fight for it. Like, wag tayo mapagod. Yun yung, for me, the best, I guess, like, avenue to, like, do something about it. Don't give up on love. Yun.
Parang the election is not the be all and end all of things. Huh? Hindi talaga. Yun natin yung ano natin ngayon na while we're forming a non-government organization, parang there are different ways of intervention. Yan na natutunan natin. Mela, ikaw, you are in media. You have that voice. How important is that voice now?
I value it now more than ever, Ninong, because there are people who listen. And I saw LGBTQ plus people, individuals who are actually getting strength from the strong voice that I didn't know I have. So I'm now more inspired to strengthen whatever platform I have now and continue using these platforms to promote correct information, most importantly, to be vigilant with governance and the governance that we will be experiencing in the next 6 years, to be appreciative of Filipino values. Kasi makikita naman natin na pare-parehas naman tayo ng adhikain. Gusto lang natin ng mas maginhawa at mas mahusay na Pilipinas. Kaya I'm being mindful right now of doing my research, of things that I encounter online, of the content that I can be creating for everyone's consumption. Kasi ito yung makakatulong in our endeavor to keep going. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, hindi na mawawala itong puso ng pagmamahal para sa bansa. At mas palalakasin pa natin ito. Natalo tayo sa eleksyon, pero hindi tayo matatalo at hindi natin ipapatalo ang Pilipinas.
Buhay, no? Totoo naman. Did you come across yung letter for the young activists by Thomas Merton in TIA 141?
No po, Ninong.
I'll go through the letter and let's see how it resonates to us, no? Parang this was a sort of source of comfort during the whole processing of this pain, and a source of healing too. Sabi dito, do not depend and hope of results on the hope of results. When you're doing the sort of work you've taken on, essentially an apostolic work, which we have done, you may have to face the fact that your work will apparently be worthless and even achieve no result at all. Yun ang mahirap sa atin. If not, perhaps results opposite to what we expect. As you get used to this idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value and the rightness of the truth of the work itself. And there is too a great deal that has gone through as gradually as you struggle less and less for an idea and more for specific people. Ito yung nakakaiyak. The range tends to narrow down, but it gets much more real. In the end, it is the reality of personal relationships that saves everything. Actually, that's a learning from the whole exercise that we had, no? Parang makakalimutan mo lahat ng iba pa, pero yung your effect on people, your relationship with people na nabuo, ibang klase. The big results are not in your hands or mine, but they suddenly happen and we can share in them. There's no point in building our lives on this personal satisfaction, which may be denied us and which after all is not that important. The next step is in the process, is for us to see that your own thinking about what you are doing is crucially important. It's the way we think about of what we're doing. You are probably striving to build yourself an identity in your work, out of your work, and your witness. You are using it, so to speak, to protect yourself against nothingness, annihilation. This is not the right use of your work. All the good that you will do will not come from you, but from the fact that you have allowed yourself in the obedience of faith to be used by God's love. Yan, namin iyan na love talaga yung in the end ng matter. Think of this more and more. Gradually, you will be free from the need to prove yourself, and you can be more open to the power that will work through you without you knowing it. The great thing, after all, is to live, not to pour out your life in the service of a myth. We turn the best things into myths. If we can get free from the domination of causes and just serve Christ's truth, we'll be able to do more and will be less crushed by the inevitable disappointments like what we have. Because I see nothing, whatever insight, but much disappointment, frustration, and confusion. The last part, the real hope then is not in something we think we can do, but in God who is making something good out of it in some way we cannot see. Hirap tanggapin. If we can do God's will, we will be helping in this process. We will not necessarily know all about it beforehand. Enough of this, at least it's a gesture. We'll keep each other in our prayers. So, grabe yung pinagdaanan natin. But how else can we heal, personally now and as a community of artists and people in media, and then as a country as a parting shot? Mela, ikaw.
Ang lakas nung tama sa akin, Ninong, nung sinabi na what we're doing right now is not for you and not to protect yourself. Diba? May kahulugan kung bakit natin ito ginagawa. And we built relationships in which I can attest I am not alone. And I'm not just doing this. Lalo na nung nakikita ko yung mga bata involved. Yung mga 18, 22.
They're the most broken, ha? They're the most broken. As much as we are. Kasi lahat the time, I'm a senior citizen. Yung sabi ko nga, pride lang siguro, no? That we would want to sana push for results. Sana within our lifetime, makita pa namin yung change na yun. Pero hindi na eh. Mahirap na eh. So it has to be, it's in the process. So, kayo na yun.
Hopefully in our lifetime, baka
pero
kita tayo.
Hindi nga yun yung gauge.
Oo. Diba? Pero sabi nga natin, whatever we do now, yun yung magiging legacy. Diba? Hindi man natin maranasan yon, at least yung mga taong makakaranas nun will always go back to this point in which, there are people who convened for good governance. There are people who convened for a better Philippines. There are people who convened to protect history. There are people who convened to battle disinformation. There are people who believed that the Philippines can do better and experience better leadership. At that's why we do what we do, and we do what we can. And we will always hold on to that. Matalo man tayo sa election.
And Ian, weren't you just proud of Ateneo? Parang unthinkable, no? Unthinkable talaga na we never thought you would be the venue for the Thanksgiving rally.
Exactly.
It was the biggest parang gathering of people we had after the pandemic. And then the Jesuits, di ba, making a stand, faculty members, and the whole Ateneo community. No? Parang kakaiba. And more than Ateneo, I guess, it's really going back to the sectors. Like,
yes.
Went to the ground.
Yes.
Yun parang yung bumaba ka sa bundok, we felt that. Ian, go. What else can make
No, exactly.
We're going through.
Exactly. Yun. Like, exactly that. Like, magugulat ka na, like, so many people, parang the schools who have been neutral for so long. And yung mga, like, old malls na we used to visit, they would also, like, put up mga pro-Lenny stuff. So it's, like, kidding aside, like, we really have to trust na all of this effort, all of these things na may not come into fruition, like, immediately, they will, like, ripple across. Alam mo yun, this spirit na of volunteerism, I think it's gonna carry over for, like, a long time to come. Kaya nga parating inuulit-ulit na the fight is not over. There's still so much to be done. Sobrang rami pang kayang gawin para paglaban ng pagmamahal. Kasi totoo naman like I like in the short life that I have had, years, I have never seen like this level of volunteerism from people.
Sure.
And I genuinely believe that will carry over. People will not be like as complacent anymore. Like people will be able to like recognize the value in speaking up, because like so many people who you did not expect to speak up. Alam mo yun, like schools, yun nga, yung old malls, artists, all of these other like formerly neutral people. That's a domino effect. And I choose to believe na in the future, maybe not now, I think it's gonna come to something. So
Sana soon. Thank you very much. Well, I'll always be there for you. And well, ibang klase yung support na na-open na on the start because of this campaign. And lalo na our affinity to each other when we knew where we have the same roots, no? Parang pwede tayo bumalik dun sa, ayun nga, sa natutunan natin at marami pa tayong natutunan. At yun na, parang nakaka-proud lang, no? Yung pinanggalingan natin na tumaya sa buong process na to. Up next, I'm having the three presidents of our student council. So, si Haya Bendania, si Kiel Kiwa, and maybe Beharin, no? Na nasa Lenny for You. May iba't ibang silang, mayroong isang nag-work with the transport sector. Sabi ko nga, ang dami na mga involvement. Si Kiel was with the Youth for Lenny, and daw si JB naman was for yung Lenny for You in Ateneo. So, iba't ibang levels, and yun nga, ang learning walang sayang.
Walang sayang.
Exactly.
Parang ayan, and we'll always be there for each other right after the election. Parang hindi election yung simula at huli ng lahat, ang pagtatapos ng lahat. So but talagaan natin yung sarili natin, at talagaan natin yung isa't isa. Sabi ko nga, nag-manifest yung vertigo ko during the Thanksgiving. Siguro yun. Parang your body will take a toll, and dun, nag-stand lang talaga yung pagod. Namdamin din siguro yung pagpo-post na yun. No? So, sana sa pag-inom nyo, makita nyo yun in the end. At itong, maramdaman yung pagod at yun, magsimula na muli. So, mahalaga at mahaba pa yung laban. So, importante na nandito tayo para sa isa't isa, hindi lang para sa ating sarili. So, thank you, Nella, and thank you, Ian. Yun, kindred spirits we all are. We'll always go back to our foundation, which is our being persons for others. And, well, we're really proud to be Ateneans at this point. We were on the right side, I guess, a good side of history. And thank you for sharing this now on Level Up. Maraming salamat.
You're welcome, Ninong. Maraming salamat for having us.
Thank you. At nakaya ng signal niya. Up next, we're having the council leaders that we had. Iba rin yung paraan nila ng pag-cope. Katulad natin. Thank you. Yay!
Hey, Katipuneros, don't change that dial, because we'll be coming right back. Radyo Katipunan is now online. See our live feed on facebook.com/Radyo Katipunan. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter at Radyo Katipunan, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Radyo Katipunan FM for more exclusive content. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
All good, already all the best. And we're now in this segment where that tries to spell out my existence in Radyo Katipunan too, because these three people I'm about to be with are the markers of my time in Radyo Katipunan. Let's start with the lady first. The person whom I have linked to Vico Soto during that guesting, and I think pareho pa rin naman yung pakiramdam natin na of all the Ateneans na na nasa gobyerno ngayon, sa tingin ko, we're all cheering for Vico na nakasama namin sa isang guest. So, Haya Bendanya, kumusta ka?
Ano po, crush pa rin si Vico.
walang itatago na gano'n. Ayos.
Okay naman sir, pero naniniwala po tayo na kahit po markers kami ng edad mo sa radyo-katipunan, ikaw po ay so, dun po tayo. We're doing fine. So, tumulong po tayo sa kampanya ng Madam during the campaign season. Masakit, pero konting-konting tinatanggap kasi wala naman tayong choice.
Galing, no? Galing. And we'll talk about that. Also, the reasons and the learnings on why we're going through all these things, no? Then the second person is someone really close to me and really family, no? I was witness to yung pinagdaanan niya nung pandemya kasi yun nga yung pagtatalaban ng personal at saka political. Ramdam niya nung buong political process. Now here, Kel Andrew Kio back in Quezon City. So Kel, kumusta ka?
Okay naman po, ganun pa rin tuloy ang laban. Yung lagi nga namin sinasabi mula nung lumabas yung election results, pagkagising natin pareho pa rin naman yung mga pinaglalaban natin. Nag-iba lang yung context. Iba na rin yung kailangan lang i-reimagine yung laban. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? Pero ganun pa rin.
But it's easier said, di ba? No, but we got to do a lot of things na mamaya, di ba, meron siyang material or basic foundation na kailangan din nating bunuin. No? So, pag-usapan natin mamaya. And now, probably the youngest person here, at least a lot, no? But with someone we were surprised na talagang, iniwan talaga yung politika sa eskwela, pero talagang tumalon into doing some things na parang alam mo yung lundagin mo, baby. Siya yun parang ginawa niya yun na may pagkataya, hindi alam kung ano yung susuungin, pero yun, ginawa niya, nagtaya. Si JB Marin, kumusta ka?
Hello po, Sir Noel, Hayak, Kel, at sa lahat ng manonood. Ito po pagod at isa ako sa mga marami pa nating kababayan na numb at hindi pa rin ma-process ang mga pangyayari. Pero gaya nga ng sinasabi nyo, kahit uncertain yung mga susunod na buwan, tuloy pa rin, no? Sana maintindihan pa natin yung mga pinagdaanan natin sa mga kakaharapin natin mga susunod na buwan.
Totoo, yun. Yun, yung mga salita, no? Pagod, uncertain, may pinagdadaanan, may pagdududa, or siguro pagkabagabag. Can you capture into words what you're feeling now? Di ba yan yung buong exercise, no? Papunta sa healing or papunta sa pagiging totoo sa sarili. Kailangan meron kang salita na pang-capture dun sa nararamdaman mo. So Haya, ikaw, ano yung pakiramdam after the whole political exercise?
Tingin ko po akong hindi ma-contact. Opo, at saka pero yung pinakauna ko pong ginawa, tinawagan ko po lahat ng nakausap kong union. Kasi po yung ginawa ko rin po kasi during the campaign ay kinampanya ko po steady sa mga transport workers. So, kinausap ko po lahat ng union, Piston, Acto, Manibela, yung mga pinapalaking transport workers sa Pilipinas para ipakilala siya bilang kandidato. Kasi alam niyo naman po, transport is a heavily male-dominated industry. So, paramihan talaga sa kanila, Marcos. So si VP Lenny po hindi nila immediate choice. Pero naitawid po natin yun. Karamihan sa kanila nagtaya talaga as in mga TODA drivers na sila mismo yung nangangampanya sa kanya-kanya mga lugar, gini-give up yung boundary, etc. So tinawagan po muna sila. Kasi kailangan, wala silang ganito wala silang debriefing.
That's true.
So yun po siguro, parang yung una kong immediate reaction ay gusto ko maglaho. So after po nung series of calls ko, naglaho ako. Kasi ang pinaka-importante, parang mapasalamatan mo yung mga
That's true. We have to tell the people also na yung BBM campaign was heavily based on a lot of di ba? Parang yung parada, di ba mga ganoon, yung mga motorcades at the start. At ang gamit talaga nila yung transport groups, no? Tapos yes, yung sinasabi yung CDE market was a market or was an audience that we wanted to capture and to, di ba, yung to win over. So tama ka, malaking effort yon, Haya. And were there deliverables sa end mo, and then what happened when the numbers came?
Ano po, malaki. Parang hindi lang po sa transport workers, pero pati yung mga commuter volunteers. So at the end of it po, si Manibela alone, parang the thing po kasi about transport, consolidated sila.
That's
so
true.
Nationwide, kapag nakausap mo si Piston, buong bansa may Piston. So,
That's true.
nung napa-oo po namin ang Piston sila Tatay Elmer, nakausap namin sila sa headquarters nila. Nag-deliver kami ng jeep na mga tarpaulin, na mga materyales. Tapos, dineliver nila sa bawat terminal nila nationwide. Tapos, yung mga transport workers mismo ang nangangampanya sa mga pasahero nila. So, malaking effort po yun. Nationwide talaga siya, pati po NCTU. And in numbers alone, si Manibela, halimbawa, delivered more than 500,000 orders. From the transport sector na galing mismo sa Manibela. Sila Ate Angie from NCTU, pumunta po sila sa bawat terminal na hindi nila affiliated kasi hindi naman po lahat may affiliations eh. Tapos talagang kinausap. So malaking bagay po yun, mga tricycle drivers na house to house sa barangay nila. I think in total, halos 1 million lagpas rin po yung mga boto na na-deliver at nakampanya ng mga transport workers natin.
May party list din ba sila at naipanalo nila ito?
Hindi po sila naniniwala na they are genuinely represented by their parties.
Okay. Di ba, maraming nagulat, no? Maraming nagulat sa party list results. Tapos yun, parang yung lakas ng mga tao parang hindi nga reflected doon. So, yun. So that's highest intervention. Kiel was coming from a different organizing team, no? Yung pag-organisa ng mga kabataan. Kaya parang people were really expecting the youth to be the prime movers here, and they were saying sila dapat yung alas 3, inaasahan sila alas 3 ng umaga yung mga first time voters, tapos biglang sila yung magbibigay ng bagong politika. And we were also so concerned about them kasi kung broken tayo, mas grabe yung brokenness siguro dun sa mga first-time voters na trinay ninyong kausapin. So, what was it like on the ground?
Agree po doon. Actually, the night of the elections din, similar kay Haya. Kasi nagtatanong na sila, 7 p.m., Kuya, bakit ganun yung result, yung partial results? Parang may pag-asa pa ba? So, syempre ako, may mga, pa kami doon, mga encouraging words, no, inspirational messages. Papunta pa lang tayo sa exciting part, nagsisimula pa lang yung bilangan. By 9 p.m., okay, sige, may chance pa, guys. Ganyan. By 11 p.m., kahit kami naubusan na rin kami ng mga inspirational words na sasabihin. As in, nagpe-prepare kami ng statement. Hindi namin ma-put together yung mga words namin nun. Pero yun, the next day, dire-diretso kami, post-election consultations. Yung pag-recognize kung nasan tayo ngayon as a network, kasi tapos na yung elections, yung pag-contextualize nung fight and shift in perspective na kailangan. Kasi ang goal talaga namin ma-close yung elections eh. Parang this is chapter 1, chapter 2 na tayo, iba yung kailangan nating mindset dito. And ma-figure out kung paano pa rin mag-work together. So, grabe. Ang lagi namin sinasabi sa kanila, kinulang tayo sa oras talaga. And hindi dapat malungkot ng sobra para doon sa nabuo natin for a span of 7 months. No? Yeah. Kung may lungkot, damdamin lang. Pero marami pa tayong pwedeng gawin. Yun yung namin, yun yung framework namin dun sa mga consultations.
While you're trying to make sense of how you're feeling also, no? Parang ang daling sabihin yun talaga sa ibang mga tao. And when you yourself will ask, so ano pala yung mga tao pumupunta sa mga rallies natin? Ano pala yung, di ba? Parang ganun ba talaga?
Sobrang roller coaster of emotions mula doon sa paglabas ng results hanggang sa in-announce yung Angat Buhay. Grabe, as in, malungkot lahat. Tapos biglang for a week, parang lost, kailangan i-process. Tapos nung in-announce yun, biglang excited na ulit lahat magpatuloy. Kailangan lang talaga ngayon ma-consolidate ulit, malinaw, mabigyan ng linaw yung mga plano moving forward. So,
on the youth part, anong sagot doon? Yung tipong, kala ko pa, sir, hindi nire-reward yung hindi nagsasabi ng totoo. Di ba? Ang hirap sagutin nun. Kala ko ba, sir, yung mga nandadaya or hindi nagbabayad ng tax nila, parang bakit namamayani? Parang ganon. Paano sinasagot yun?
Ah, medyo ano rin sir, medyo mahirap nga sagutin yun.
Kasi tanong din natin yun, di ba?
Tanong din natin yun. Pero parang, I think, kailangan natin tugunan yung unang aral na nakuha natin mula sa eleksyong ito na hindi pwedeng tuwing eleksyon lang tayo may pakialam.
That's
I think
true.
yun talaga yung naging
That's true.
kalaban natin dito, yung foundation ng yung large network of disinformation ng kalaban na nabuo
That's true.
for the past few decades siguro.
But we knew about that, James, di ba? Well, the disinformation, and we were really willing to like face it head on, di ba? The disinformation, and it's not as if we weren't ready. So, what was the reaction on your end, yung Lenny for You campaign?
Siguro po, gaya nga po ng sinabi niyo, alam naman natin yung pinasukan natin. Kahit nung hindi pa sure si VP Lenny nung tumatakbo siya, parang alam naman natin na ang laki ng hahabulin natin. At lalo na sa Ateneo community na parang struggling to go down.
That's true.
And as in yung babad talaga sa mga komunidad.
Yeah.
I think yun throughout the campaign, sa Lenny for You po, which is the official group ng Ateneo na gumagalaw para sa kampanya, yun yung nire-recognize namin na parang difficulty sa mga estudyante natin, sa mga guro natin na nagtuturo at nag-aaral pa rin, no? Pero gayon pa man, nagawa naman natin kahit huli na, no? So yung next part, yun yung siguro yung mahalaga nating sagutin. Kasi kung maipakita na natin sa mga sarili natin na ito yung pagkukulang natin, tsaka ito yung kailangan nating tapatan kung makakamit natin yung panalo sa politika. Kailangan natin gumulaw ngayon pa lang.
That's true.
Pero at the same time, kailangan din nating i-recognize na pagod din yung mga tao. So paano natin i-debrief yung community? Yun din siguro yung pinagtutuunan natin ng pansin ngayon sa Ateneo po, no? Ateneo has been active even after the elections, no? Hinost yung Thanksgiving natin, tapos sila Father Bobby po at ang administration very supportive sa pagpapamisa, no? And hopefully tuloy-tuloy lang yung ganun. Tuloy-tuloy lang
proud of our school. Can we just be proud of our school, no? Parang ang ganda lang na tumaya talaga yung mga tao. At then, well, truth be told, hindi to alam, no? Hindi ko talaga gusto mag-Makati meeting the Avance. So, nung hindi talaga pwede yung UP. Kasi dapat talaga logical na alumni si Ma'am, si VP Lenny, tsaka si Senator Kiko ng UP, dapat doon. At imagine na namin, Sunken Garden, tapos yung steps ng Palma Hall, tsaka yung engineering, nandoon hanggang University Avenue, tapos papunta ng Philcoa sa Commonwealth, ang ganda sana noon. Ang problema, parang hindi pumayag. So, alam niyo ba, bago mag-Makati, in-offer ng Ateneo ang Ateneo. Tapos sinabi namin, okay sana, pero wag sabing Ateneo kasi baka sabihin, elitista na naman. So, gamitin Katipunan, the Katipunan Consortium. So, pero sayang, hindi natuloy, nag-Makati na nga rin. Pero yung pagkatuloy ng Thanksgiving was something else too. No? So, sinabi nga, baka pag-initan na yung Ateneo afterwards na because of what happened. But, looking back at, what Ateneo did during the elections, how did you feel about, our school, at least that?
Siyempre po, proud na proud. We are on the right side of history, keme-keme. And more importantly, Sir Noel, parang karamihan po ng tumulong sa amin na tumawid talaga. Marami sa network taga Ateneo.
Totoo, the psychologists now, sila Tina Montiel and all, malaking.
Opo, madami. As in, kanya-kanyang efforts, donations, etc. Sila Ma'am Cathy, sila po yung tumulong sa akin mag-fundraise para pondohan yung transport unions natin kasi syempre kailangan ng panggasolina, kailangan ng pangmerienda ng pamasahe ng mga jeepney drivers natin. Sila po yung tumulong. Kinonect nila ako sa headquarters, sa iba't ibang tao na we were able to raise parang more than 500 kilin, ganong level. So, malaki pong pasasalamat dun sa network ng Ateneo. Pero I think, kahit proud din ako sa Ateneo, sobrang laking credit din po talaga nung papel ng mga sektor at ng mga community na kasama natin. So dun po, in our case, parang karamihan talaga ng kumilos at nakapaniwala at nakakonvert ng mga voters are actually the transport workers. Kasi sila yung sektor. Di ba po kahit naman sa mga sorties nila Kiko Pangilinan halimbawa, kapag magsasaka yung nag-endorse, parang ang hirap hindi maniwala na kaya niya talagang gawin yung mga pinangako niya kasi galing sa sektor yung endorso.
Yeah, galing sa ground mismo, no? Kiel, back to the Ateneo thing. Nakaka-proud lang na parang we had the biggest gathering in Ateneo na never na plano yan. Na tipong spontaneous sa yung mga Friday the 13th. Tapos iba't ibang sektorium nandun. How else did your Ateneo background help you there?
Well, maraming Ateneo people din sa campaign, 'di ba? Marami ring tumulong. Yun nga, ako natuwa nga ako kahit yung Lenny for You, 'di ba? Ang naging goal niya rin, JB, parang decentralized din, mas sa sectors din yung focus.
That's true.
Pero parang, yun nga, agree kay Haya parang aside from being proud of the Ateneo background, talagang yung mga sectors din under the youth umbrella, yung nagpalaki ng nagpalawak ng movement.
That's true.
Sobrang happy kapag may mga nakakasamang Atenista, lalo na yung mga Ateneans in the provinces. No, parang sila rin, sobrang kumikilos din sila para sa mga rallies nila, para sa mga house-to-house nila. Nakaka-proud yun, syempre, sir.
Yes. James, how about the Jesuits there? Parang, di ba? Parang nakakagulat din, no? Parang, they're the first ones to like really make a stand. Pero, kumusayin ko, yung faculty ba was solid sa movement natin?
I think what's good po about the faculty is parang they came up with movements within their own disciplines, no? For example, yung psychologists for Lenny, political scientists for Lenny, pati po yung mga artists for Lenny. Ang dami po nilang movements within their own disciplines at yun po yung nakakatuwa. I think I want to build up on what Haya and Kiel mentioned, no? Kasi may sinabi din po ako kanina na siguro yung na-realize din po namin sa proseso ng pag-organisa within Ateneo is sobrang tagal na nating wala na hindi natin kasama yung mga basehang sektor.
Yes.
At siguro po yung maganda na na-realize natin dito is kung makipag-partner tayo sa mga grupo na nasa ground na, siguro yung parang hindi naman natin kailangang to start from ground up. Ito po siguro, kasi nung una po, hindi namin planong mag-house to house nung simula. Kasi sabi namin...
I want to ask you that, no? Because it's a national campaign. People are saying, you do house to house for a local campaign. But this one was different. Did it really work?
Siguro that's a question for everyone to answer. Pero siguro ako po from an organizing standpoint, marami tayong na-engage na mga kabataan dahil sa house to house.
That's true.
At bilang leader estudyante, mahalaga po yun sa akin. Kasi yun yung entry point nila sa deeper political involvement. Kahit sabihin mo lang na nag-aabot lang sila ng flyer, yung makausap lang nila yung mga nagtitinda sa daan, yung mga driver ng jeep. Meron po kaming isang pinuntahan na house to house sa may gilid po sa may barangay Central, sa may Tandang Sora. Yung dala-dala po naming speakers, yung barker na po yung kumuha. Tapos siya yung nag-abot doon sa gilid ng jeep. Tapos yung mga kasamahan naming estudyante, gulat na gulat sila. Tapos bukod sa sabi nila na hindi sila nag-iisa, na-realize nila na mas powerful kung yung mga tao mismo yung nangangampanya sa mga sarili nilang sektor. So, hindi lang siya tungkol sa pagbaba ng mga Atenista. Tungkol po siya sa pakikisalamuha at pagkawala nung pagkahiwalay. So, yun po yung magandang na-realize natin sa house to house. Whether it worked or not in terms of numbers, I think effective po siya in getting people involved.
Ang galing, no? Kasi sa panahon namin ng tawag dyan, tulong bahay. At yun yung may political exercise man nang wala, yan yung binabalik-balikan na sistema para rin, yun, makisalamuha doon sa sektor. So, yun yung maganda. Any other learning before we go to the processing and the period of healing and moving forward? Ano pa yung mahalagang mga natutunan natin dito sa political exercise at yung pakikisangkot natin, Haya? Maliban din nga sa pagbabad ulit at pagpakikitrabaho kasama ng mga sektor.
Sir, importante na hindi ikaw yung bida sa movement. Kasi this entire process is a volunteer-led process. At ang hirap to stay ng volunteer-led process kung yung credit ang ginagawa ng volunteers, ina-assign mo sa'yo. So, yun po yung pinaka-ano. I think for a lot of the youth leaders na sumama sa amin, bago yun, na parang, parang hindi siya, ibang klaseng forma siya ng pangangampanya, ibang klaseng forma siya ng pagkilos. Kasi hindi siya pang CV. Parang a lot of us, di naman ito malalagay sa CV. It's something na talaga, you have to take the sectors, you have to take, as much as you can, you diffuse the credit. You give gratitude to everyone. Kasi ganun yung movement. Hindi naman ako to, hindi to si Ken, hindi to yung mga commuters lang, hindi to yung transport workers lang. It's everyone talaga na nag-ambag every single day at nagsakripisyo every single time para mapalakad yung kumpanya. At importante po na when we're referring back to this, lagi siyang ma-refer as a community-led effort. Na talagang komunidad siya ng mga volunteers. Hindi lang siya Atenista, hindi lang siya tayo, hindi siya sektor lang. Parang lahat talaga siya nag-ambagan, lahat talaga tayo nagtaya.
Tapos yun, no, parang walang dapat makalimutan dun sa pagpapasalamat. Ngayon lalo na ngayon, no, parang kasi lahat yung ambag ng mga tao kailangan i-value at talagang kailangan i-acknowledge. So, yun, magandang point yun, no? Na kita naman natin walang standard poster or t-shirt and all. Parang, okay, but we have to document all those efforts and we have to thank everyone for all those efforts. Kiel, ikaw pa, ano pa yung dagdag na learning at this point? And then when you look forward, mamaya siguro yung looking forward, no? Parang, oo nga, ang dami pa nating gagawin kasi parang our task really here was to like ano ba yun, parang nakuha lang natin yung mga taong kailangan itap. Parang ganyan, parang napasimulan natin yung pag-asa doon sa mga tao, but now it's really institutionalizing our gains na mas mahirap, no? Okay, Kel.
Pero gusto ko lang po i-plus one din yung yung lakas ng mga sectors na yung pinakitang lakas ng mga sectors nung campaign, no? Kahit nga yung Youth for Lenny, ano rin yan kanya-kanyang nag-organize mula sa simula, and yung network na nabuo, it was more like a coordinating mechanism. Hindi kami nag-i-impose na ito gawin, ito yung i-push. Talagang nanggagaling sa mga tao yung mga gagawin, nanggagaling sa mga tao yung pag-organize. As in yung initiative talaga nandoon. Kailangan lang siyang ma-coordinate properly, kailangan lang ma-direct sa towards our goals during the campaign. Kailangan mapagsama-sama. I think moving forward, ganoon pa rin yung magiging laban natin. Parang hindi naman laging pare-pareho yung pinaglalaban natin bilang mga sektor, di ba? Parang may mga sector-specific engagement, sector-specific issues. Pero at least ngayon, mayroon tayong nabuong movement na pwedeng maging intersection point ng lahat. Diba? Na on certain issues na parang universal or para sa buong Pilipinas. Dito tayo magkakasama. Doon sa mga ibang bagay, support sa isa't isa. Pero hindi naman laging kailangang mag-away or i-gatekeep yung isa't isa from other things.
I'll throw in lang a thought before, and JB can answer this, no? Did we give them the real picture of the fight? Kasi nga parang, we're really reeling with with optimism and with that idealism in pushing for reforms. Pero when we got the numbers, parang it seems like, parang may disconnect ba tayo dun sa mga sinasabi natin sa community din? So, James, sa tingin mo, parang was it important at one point that we would level with the people yung katotohanan ng scenario? Kunyari yung surveys, diba? You were saying, kami yung tunay na survey, hindi yan yung survey, hindi kami naniniwala. But after the numbers all came out, parang, it seems like, there's science to it. And even Ma'am was saying, parang kailangan nating malaman na hindi, kaya nga mahirap yung laban. Parang kailangan tayong aware at we speak the truth then and really prepare people for the truth. It seems like the shock of the people really came from a different kind of expectations. I don't know. I'm just throwing it to you there.
Actually, yung post 2022 elections po, what's what's a similar experience for me is what happened in 2019 when the opposition lost. And
Yes.
opo, marami pong mga problema na nakaharap yung vote counting machines natin.
Yes.
At marami pong problema sa ground. Pero yung ganun din po yung pakiramdam kasi madami ding doubt dun sa resulta ng halalan at marami yung nahirapan tanggapin yung resulta. And so in the healing process, yun yung kailangan nating masimulan actually, yung pagtanggap. Pagtanggap dun sa surveys, even during the election process, pagtanggap dun sa resulta ng halalan. Kasi kung masusustain natin yung mga sectoral gains natin, kung gusto natin mangyari yun, kailangan din natin tingnan yung geographical, yung mga resulta per province. No? Parte po yun ng pagpapalawak ng hanay. Kasi yung mga sektor po natin, malawak po yung kanilang network sa buong bansa. Kung mapalalim pa natin yung mga sektor na yun, sa mga, lalo na sa mga lugar kung saan naging mahina tayo dahil siguro hindi tayo naramdaman sa nakalipas na 6 na taon.
Yeah.
Siguro yun yung kailangan nating gawin, yung pagpapalalim pa po.
I have to, tell you a specific example. Like when we were in Baguio, your hometown, no? People were telling us there were more people attending the Lenny rally than the BBM rally. At to the point nga raw na hindi na kailangan bumaba at magpakita pa si BBM kasi nga ang konti. But the thing here is, when I talked to Gabe Mercado when I went back to Baguio just last week, sabi niya gano'n, well, our goal really was just 20% because we knew those people won't really be going out to attend rallies. Parang inherent dun sa region or sa place na yon na talagang they'll vote for Marcos. And so, 25% na vote for Lenny's achievement enough. So, does that tell us na, oy, wag mapako dun sa optics ng mga rallies? I don't know.
Ako syempre opo. Kasi kung iisipin po natin,
now, no?
kung iisipin po natin yung sino yung may oras pumunta sa rally. Kung sino yung kayang mag-spend ng kasi yung pag mag-organize po tayo ng rally, we start yung mga tao nagdadagsaan na doon 6 a.m.
That's true.
Because they will stay until what? Midnight.
That's
so who has the luxury of time to do that? People who have jobs.
And James, we had all the university heads there bringing their students, and then so 25% lang pala yun ng Baguio. Tapos, yun, talagang ibang klase. Any other things that happened during the campaign and even the elections that parang siguro nagulat kayo at saka parang hanggang ngayon may mga tanong kayo pero magandang lunsaran ng mga bagong insight before we go to the moving forward part. Siguro, I'm sure may marami pa rin kayong tanong. And, well, siguro ikabit na rin natin, how has the results or of the previous political exercise affected you as a person then? Parang, siguro, yan, mas magandang iugat din natin sa sarili natin. Ako, well, I have to tell you, I told Hayat too, and Kiel knows this, well, ako talaga nag-manifest lahat ng pagod. Sabi nga ni Jamie, no? Yung pagod na, it manifested on my health, no? Parang, I had vertigo attacks recently and I had to be treated. And parang you just have to be aware na at yung sinasabi ko palagi na nandun yung lungkot hindi mo may iyak. Hindi mo talaga may iyak. Pero overriding yung theme na lungkot. But yun, we know we have to snap out of it. Hayago, ikaw, personal.
Ano siya, sir, parang yung sa akin kasi nakatali talaga ako sa sektor. Yun yung personal ko rin. Dahil doon ako galing, yun yung komunidad ko. At yung sa amin ngayon, parang masakit na, ito kasi yung first time na talaga nagtaya. Yung sektor. Opo, as in first time talaga siya na nagtaya sila. At as in nakiaway sila sa ibang transport unions na si Marcos yung sinuportahan. As in gumulo yung yung buong sektor. At parang in our case, pagkatapos nun parang sobrang hopeful po kasi namin. Kasi nung nag-meeting si Madam Lenny with our transport workers, sabi niya sa amin halimbawa, hindi ako mag-a-appoint ng DOTR secretary na hindi nyo binibet.
Ang galing.
Alam mo po yun, parang sa amin, parang wow! Never has a president.
First time na
Opo, ask our opinion. about an appointee who will affect the rest of our lives. So, sobrang importante nun sa amin. So, pinanghahawakan po namin yun. As in, parang, shit, for the first time, meron na tayong presidente na may pakialam sa naranasan ng transport workers.
That's true.
And then, it didn't happen. Nanghina po kami nun, pero parang at the same time, yung conversation, just had conversation, pero yung conversations po on the ground ay, di operate tayo as status quo. Kasi gano'n naman eh. Parang in the past presidents naman, gano'n lang din naman. Parang none of them ever ask us kung sino i-appoint nila. So this wouldn't be any different. We have thrived despite all that. We have thrived despite the fact na kailangan pa natin mag-rally para lang mapakinggan. So it will be the same thing with this administration. We had a chance to have a different one. Pero we were built to resist administrations like this. Strike, rally, nationwide. Lahat yan ino-organisa natin. Kaya natin gawin. Parang we could do that for 6 more years. And then maybe magtaya ulit tayo after 6 years.
Wow, grabe, no? Grabe yung ganung pagtataya. And, but with the new consciousness, with that kind of consciousness, no? Pananon of fuel, parang ang saya lang. Na tipong, ipapatuloy sila na gano'n. Kiel, ikaw, grabe rin naman pinagdaanan. Sabi nila, di ba? Pag gobyernong tapat, angat buhay lahat, may jowa lahat. Di ba? So, yun. Paano yun ngayon sa'yo? Maasa ka pa rin ba doon?
Hindi. I'm good, sir. Grabe, bakit obvious yung tanungan dito? Joke lang.
Di ba ganun sa rally, na tipong, our political convictions are really anchored on really good personal relationships too, no?
Actually, agree po. Kaya yung pinaka-marami kong iniyak, actually, ay nung meeting de Avance. Nandun na yung parang consolidation ng lahat.
That's true.
Yung mga binabanggit nila para sa mga sectors, tulad na nasabi rin ni Haya kanina, yung lahat ng nangyari the past few months, nag-flashback talaga eh. Pero after nung lumabas yung results talaga.
Sa chat room natin. Kung nakikita nyo lang yung chat room namin. Parang
after nung election results talagang yung mindset talaga, anong gagawin next? Anong kailangan gawin para paano sasaluhin yung mga youth din na first time voters, first time campaigners, first time tumaya. Paano mag-sustain yung efforts, ano yung pwedeng i-provide na capacity building, training, workshops, ganyan. Ano yung space na maibibigay sa kanila moving forward?
Ang hirap, no? Ang hirap talaga. Parang, when you're talking about the sector sa meeting de Avance, then itinawid papunta sa election, sa counting, parang naiba yung itsura. Parang, JB, ikaw pa, bago tayo pumunta dun sa moving forward.
Siguro po yung masasabi ko lang, walang nasayang. Doon sa Rosas extended version, nandun yung mga words na yun. Pero sinasabi ko yun kasi minessage ko nga si Haya parang April ata. Tapos sabi ko sa kanya, yung sinimulan natin nung Tango President ka, which was 4 years ago, na i-involve yung mga org sa ganitong klaseng political process, which is something they've never actually really done. No? Nagawa natin yun moving forward towards this election na napa-endorse natin yung mga orgs, napasali natin sa
Yes. No, even the priest. Ako, major sa akin yung priest, yung mga pare na hindi man as a society, imagine.
Pati yung mga kapatian. House to house sila sa communities nila.
Yung hinapon ni Father Vic Baltasar yung boto niya kasi hindi dumaan sa kanya yung papel. Parang ako natuwa ako doon na tipong they wanted their votes counted.
So, walang nasayang kasi nasimulan na natin. Ibig sabihin lang nun, mas kailangan pa natin maging deeply invested. Kasi hindi na tayo pwedeng pikit muli kasi nakakita na tayo.
So tama yun, no? Walang nasayang. So let's go back to, the framework now I'll use is one of activism, no? And when we talk about activism, we start with level 1 is self-care. kailangan yun, dumaan yun doon. So in terms of self-care, Haya, napanatili mo bang buo naman yun after with this whole political exercise?
Siyempre po, parang kapag nasa crisis tayo, binibigay muna yung lahat.
Oo, di ba?
Opo. Wala tayong choice eh.
Yung haga pa man din ni ma'am, yung tipong, di ba, manindigan ka at yun parang kailangan mong masaktan sa lahat
Hindi
ng
ka
mga tao.
magpapahinga.
Hindi ka magpapahinga.
Hindi ako magpapahinga hanggat hindi ka proud maging Pilipino. O, di ba? Siyempre, alam mo po
Bakit,
yun.
no?
Siyempre tayo nagpahinga hanggat hindi tayo proud na Pilipino tayo.
Pero hindi,
yun
ang
po.
the reality is, kinailangan natin magpahinga pagkatapos.
Correct. Kaya po pagkatapos ng eleksyon, nung talagang nagda-die down na lahat, 2 linggo rin po akong may sakit. Kasi lahat. Parang we were functioning on what? Hours of sleep, coordinating everything. Ang daming ginagawa. Tapos nag-house to house, etc. Ang daming ganap. So pagkatapos po nun talaga parang boom, ang hina na pala ng katawan ko. So ngayon pa lang po ako actually nag-recover from it. Dahil yun nga, syempre napagod. And I'm sure si JB sa si Kel, pang daming nilipat niyan, daming lugar na pinuntahan.
Yeah.
For sure, mas pagod din po sila. Pero
Yeah.
yun po talaga parang it's a collective pagod plus syempre yung grief. Plus ako po at that time yung ko Sir Noel parang kaya kong tanggapin na panalo si Marcos. Pero kaya kong tanggapin na panalo siya on a clean elections. At hindi malinis ang election na to. So may ganun pang perspective na parang I don't think this elections was clean. Okay lang sa akin matalo si VP Lenny on a clean elections. Kasi yun yung demokrasya. But I don't think this was clean.
Okay, that is nice thought. Kiel, ikaw, I saw Kiel when he started the campaign. It's a different personal turmoil that he went through, but he's dating na now. We have to tell it. So at least
Hindi. Grabe.
Nag-deny na agad.
Grabe, bakit may ganito? Hindi.
So ano po ba si Kiel? Single or dating? For the audience.
Single. Grabe, ano ba to? Bakit ba ako na...
Single and dating, no. Ito. One of the things that, when we attended the Pasig rally, I just had to break away from that. I was with Kiel there and parang I had to break away because we were doing sa crush off. We had to do the courtesy call kay Vico Soto Haya. And yun, a good thing came out of that rally. He saw his ex there in the Pasig rally. So with that was a good thing, Kiel. Parang a whole parang cycle of habang binubuo mo yung bansa, binubuo mo sarili mo.
Ayan na.
Hindi, pero ganun po talaga. Pero parang personal level kasi the entire campaign, hindi ko masyado napapansin yung mga nangyayari sa akin on a personal level kasi pag yung energy ng mga youth nandyan na, hindi ko parang nawawala lahat ng nangyayari sa personal.
Pero parang, di ba, parang nabigyan ng ibang perspective yung pinaglalaban mo kasi naka-anchor into something na pinagdadaanan ko rin to. Pero, the whole patience, I guess, o the whole understanding of it all was nadagdagan dahil may mas malaki kang pinaglalaban.
Yes.
Have you made sense of it now?
Siguro sa next nating, wow.
Have you made sense of it now? Yung tipong, the parallelism between a personal relationship and a bigger relationship for the country.
Naman.
Bigger love for country. At ano yung learning na pwede mong ma-share sa mga tao?
Para sa Hindi, pero ang siguro yung learning about the personal and yung bayan, di ba?
Oo. Ganda nito ha.
Konektado talaga siya. Hindi mo siya mahihiwalay na ito gagawin ko lang para sa sarili ko pero hindi ko gagawin para sa bayan. Ito gagawin ko lang para sa bayan pero hindi ko iisipin yung sarili ko. Yung ikabubuti ng mga tao sa paligid ko, di ba? Interconnected din. So parang siguro yung reminder din para sa lahat ay alagaan din yung mga sarili natin. This will be a long battle moving forward. At kung hindi natin alagaan yung mga sarili natin, wala na tayong mailalaban. Di ba? Hindi natin alam kung gaano katagal ito.
Totoo naman yun. Pero may pagka, mangkukulam si Haya kasi it seems like she has a bigger view of all these things even before it happened. Haya, she wanted to ask you some questions or a question.
Sige, Kiel, so ngayon natapos na ang election. Babalikan mo ba siya?
Ay!
Talaga on air.
Trust me, I tried. Char!
Oo. Nakita ko naman yon. Yung tipong hindi naman sa kanya yung pagkukulang.
Hindi rin, wala naman. Parang it was, pareho namang may pagkukulang. Yun yung...
Pero yung isa naka-move on na Kiel ikaw hindi pa. No? Anyway, so James, ikaw. The personal part.
Siguro po yung
What was the effect of you?
mahalagang tignan is, hindi, kung makikita natin na walang nasayang, makikita lang natin yun kung balikan natin lahat ng mga pangyayari. At dahil natalo tayo in a sense, mahirap yung gawin. Kasi parang lugmok ka na di ba? Parang yung tanungin mo rin yung sarili mo, worth it ba yung pagod na napagdaanan natin? Ganun. Pero, kailangan din natin balikan ang dami nating nagawa in the past 7 months. Ang dami natin nakausap, ang dami natin na-organisa, at dapat hindi yun masayang, di ba? And at the same time po, makikita din natin yung paglago natin bilang mga tao, bilang isang komunidad, no? Gaya, sinasabi niyo po si Kiel, ibang-iba nung pumasok sa kampanya. Ganun din po si Haya. Ganun din po ako. Ganun din po tayong lahat, di ba? So hopefully, ituloy natin yung paglago na naranasan natin kahit hindi natin namalayan sa nakalipas na mga buwan.
For you, does that mean did it give you a firmer resolve to shun politics, or a bigger resolve for you to get into politics after?
Ako po siguro to embrace politics in a sense of fire force.
Okay.
Hindi, parang natural lang sa isang tao na siguro matakot siya sa mundo ng politika dahil sa napagdaanan niya sa nakalipas na 7 buwan. Magigets ko yun.
Yes.
Pero sa nakita natin na kung ano yung nakataya, parang mas deeper lang yung resolve sana natin na kailangan nandito tayo, kailangan magpakita tayo kasi yung mga paninindigan natin, yung pagpapahalaga natin, kailangan may tumaya para doon.
Galing lang. Level 2, sabi, after self-care, no? It talks about the level of home, children, partner, extended families, and friends. So, that's something we've covered. But sa pamilya nyo ba, na-resolve yan? Or kahit sa pamilya nyo ba, may ganong pagtatalo pa rin at pagpuproseso ng lahat ng to? Aya, ikaw.
So sa amin, sir, kakampi yung buong pamilya hanggang extended. So, wala namang conflict masyado. Lahat kami on the same page. Pero po yun, kasi halos lahat ng kandidato namin, mula pagka-presidente hanggang mayor, natalo. So parang, opo, first time na involved nun ni Mama sa kandidato sa politika. So, rallies, nag-house to house sila, nag-ano ng mga tarpaulin. So yun yung pinakaunang tapos parang nalungkot lang ako bilang anak na hindi ko sa kanila masabi na, uy, nanalo yung kandidato natin. Alam po yun, parang I was looking for that moment na kaya kong sabihin sa kanila na, wow, salamat sa'yo, nanalo sila. Pero hindi ko yun masabi. So, ang masabi ko lang po, ginawa natin lahat pa. Tapos parang sabi nga ni Mama sa kandidata, grabe na ako, kunayang na lang to. Ngayon na nga lang ako nangialam sa politika. Tapos ganito pa. Gumagano'n sa dati.
That's true. Later, I'm jumping, pero identifying with your parents, I guess kahit naman siguro sa amin kasi hindi naman kasing bata ninyo, no? The hardest part to accept was the change that we wanted in society may not happen during our lifetime anymore. So kayo na yun. Parang ang sakit-sakit. When I came to terms with that, hindi pang parang ako, yun yung masakit-sakit. Parang tumaya ng todo, tapos i-offer mo yung magandang alternative sa mga tao. Parang ang hirap tanggapin na yung gusto mong kaayusan ng mundo, hindi nila natanggap. So, yun yung kaibahan, yun yung masakit. Anyway, Kiel, sa pamilya mo, you'll have your brother here coming to the States again. So, iba naman yung konteksto niyan. And it seems like while some people are thinking of like leaving the country, here comes your brother living in this kind of...
Actually, yun, isa rin siya sa mga rason kung bakit ako lumalaban dahil bata niya pa diba? Ito yung kalalakihan niya for the next 20 years. Pero the whole campaign, naging supportive din po yung parents ko sa akin doon sa mga candidates na pinaglaban natin. Diba? Yung mga advocacies, naintindihan nila yun. May halong pag-aalala lagi, lalo na pag lumilipad-lipad nga kung saan-saan. At hanggang ngayon, doon sa mga ginagawa, sa mga in-organize, may pag-aalala pa rin mula sa kanila. Pero nandun lang. Ina-assure ko lang sila na okay, kaya to.
Na hindi madaling intindihin yun, kasi yun nga, the security part of it, and really, even the money part of it. Compare your salaries with your batchmates who maybe like earning more.
Bakit may ganun?
Iba talaga. So,
daming atake ng episode na to.
no, James, ikaw, after this, parang ano pa yung takeaway in terms of family and your community, your immediate community?
Family and community, siguro pa sa family muna.
Yeah.
Sa main family ko naman po, direct family. Lahat naman kami, we share the same set of candidates. Pero gaya nga po na sabi niyo, taga Norte po ako. So, I've encountered supporters of President-elect Marcos, Mayor Inday, no? And I saw that kind of environment. And moving forward, masaya naman ako kasi nire-respeto nila yung views ko at gagawa ko rin ng the same. Pero mahirap din siguro makipag-discourse dahil ito nga, nahihirapan ako mag-explain dahil nga parang iba yung realidad sa kanila. What do I mean by this? Parang iba yung sources nila of information at times. Tapos iba yung sources of information. So parang when we're talking about the truth, parang magkaiba yun. I guess it's not only in my environment that, but also throughout the country. Diba? Marami po akong mga kabatch. Hindi sila nakasali kahit sa isang Lenny rally. Bakit? Kasi yung mga tatay at nanay nila, supporter ng kabila. At parang ayaw lang, subukan nilang maiwasan yung gulo sa loob ng tahanan. So hindi sila maka-engage sa politika. At mahirap yun. Marami pong pamilya na ganun. And so, as a community, I guess, when we're talking about my direct community, which is Ateneo, ito po yung mga kailangan nating sagutin at harapin. Kahit mahirap siya. No? Siguro, ang pakiramdam ng maraming Atenista ngayon, parang napakahiwalay naman namin sa realidad ng karamihan ng mga Pilipino.
Yes.
It's easy to just focus on 31 versus 15 million. Pero when we're talking about what's the underlying issues doon, siguro doon na lang tayo siguro mas mag-focus din. Ano ba yung pakiramdam ng mayorya kung bakit bumoto sila ng ganito? At doon tayo magbuhos ng oras at attention. Kasi mas marirealize natin na mas marami tayong pinagkakaisahan kaysa sa pagkakaiba natin.
That's true. And parang now at least we have issues na pwede nating pag-usapan at isulong na magkakasama tayo. So that brings us to level 3, no? The community, the society, and the collective. It seems like napalakas naman natin yon, pero yun na nga yung echo chamber na kailangan nating i-break. Yun, parang it was problematized in the whole thing, no? Parang at least we're aware now that we shouldn't be talking with or parang dun lang sa mga taong kapareho natin paniniwala. So are you expecting like a lot of changes in your community in Baguio with this administration? Can't you be hopeful? Yun yung tanong ng mga tao. It's a new administration and then you're in that supposedly solid north. Are you hindi ganon?
Siguro po sa Cordillera, ang voter rate for Marcos, mga 85%. Marcos.
Yes.
Ang taas po. Siguro that just talks about how high the expectations are and the hope is for the incoming administration. Of course, we've yet to see kung ano yun. Siguro, parang masarap maging positive. No? Pero with that comes the vigilance din. Kasi ang taas ng mandato na binigay sa kanila.
That's true. Nice point about Pampanga, Kel. Well, you come from that portion, that region, and when we were rallying there, we were so hopeful because the crowds really came there, and really, at a certain point, yun ang highest record ng crowd. Tapos tinry nilang pantayan, pero hindi natuloy yung ganung pagpapantay. Pero well, the election results came, and with that, will your province benefit from this optimism supposedly with the new administration?
Hindi ko rin po masabi yung specifics, no, pero from the start parang inano namin yun, parang nag-level off kami with the volunteers na yung kalaban natin talagang makinarya yan na nabuo for a long time. How many decades? So At some point, yung naging goal na lang din namin sa Pampanga, at the very least, ma-close yung gap.
That's true.
Naging sobrang hopeful nung rally and nung days leading up to the elections. Grabe, araw-araw talaga yung pag-house to house. Pero, ayan, nangyari yung election at yung resulta.
Ano nangyari doon?
Yung...
I want to ask you, anong nangyari? Kasi parang people are looking for, babawi kami, hindi. You hear those things in the rally, no? O ipapanalo ka namin. So, makinarya talaga yung nag-work?
Sa tingin ko. Kasi nga, 7 months lang po natin binuo ito.
Oh, so none of the organizing on our end, parang parang na-offset kung ano man yung pwedeng maibigay ng makinarya. So,
kinulang lang po talaga sa oras. Yun po yung pakiramdam ko.
Sa oras.
Sa oras.
Ako, sabihin natin. Ma'am, oras lang pala. Sana earlier, ganun ba yun?
Hindi ko naman po sinisisi si ma'am. Pero ang gusto ko lang sabihin, ngayon, may oras tayo. Diba? Wala tayong deadline in 7 months. Araw-araw, we can do our best.
Was it, kung sinabing machinery and money, no? And then it was built over the years. Kaya, so we didn't have that, yung fortitude ba or the strength of character ng mga tao to resist yung ganong the lure of money and then the machinery. Because I know in the provinces, lalo na in the south, ang nangyayari, meron palang mga instances na kinukuha yung ID nila tapos may promises ng reward afterwards. So na-defeat ba or ayaw natin gamitin yan pero na overpower ba yung kung ano man yung idealism natin na ay hindi mabibili yung mga boto or ay hindi makakaya ng makinarya?
Sir, I think yung pinakamasakit sa akin personally at sa mga kaibigan ko, kasi ako po parang I want to enter politics eventually. At sa amin, Baluarte po kami ni Lenny Kami ay Bicol region. So nandito ako ngayon sa Bicol, Baluarte kami. And the politics in Naga is amazing. Na kahit janitor ka, kahit ordinaryong tao ka, kahit dati kang principal, pwede ka maging councilor. You can win seats in vice mayor and mayor. Ganun yung legacy na iniwan sa amin ni Jessie. So in my mind, kaya natin siya gawing national na lahat ng pinaka-ordinaryong tao kayang manalo. And we have Lenny leading the best of us. Pareha siya, wala siyang apelyido, wala siyang makinarya, wala siyang pera. Sadyang magaling lang talaga siya, masipag at may puso at suportado ng milyong-milyong Pilipino. She has inspired this movement. So parang for me personally looking in, siya may pag-asa, pwede pala na hindi dinastiya yung nakaupo. So sobrang sakit sir nung natalo si Madam. At hindi lang siya yung natalo. As in, madami akong kaibigan na first time sumalang sa politika who is just like her, who emanate her, na natalo nationwide. The people na nanalo are still the people who are part of dynasties, are still the people na gumamit ng vote buying para makabili ng mga boto. So para sa akin na talagang naghuhup ako ng bagong politika na sana parang in 10 years, it's parang yung barriers for entry niya are low enough for ordinary people like JB, PL, and I can run and enter and serve and win. Nabasag yun, sir So parang ngayon iniisip ko, although alam naman natin, mahal natin si Vico, for example, he's still a Soto. So parang talagang yung hopes and dreams namin nakapin sa pagkapanalo ng isang Lenny Robredo na talagang simple. Walang pinanggalingan, walang apelyido. So nung nangyari po yun, sir, yun yung pinakamasakit, I think, for a lot of the youth leaders who eventually want to enter politics. So ngayon, parang yung state namin is just trying to figure out kung saan kami huhugot ng hope na kaya naming baliktarin ang politika sa kanya-kanya naming lugar eventually. Na hindi na dinastiya yung mananalo.
Nakakayak yan kasi parang it's not the first time. It's your second time actually. You realized it because you never had a president. And when they were harping na you could have had it when Raul Roco ran, tapos hindi nanalo. Tapos when we went there for the kickoff ng rally, sabi nyo, siguro naman panalunin na natin siya. Parang, and it was doable. But yun nga, hindi nangyari. So that midnight, when people just went to the Church of the Plaza, parang nakakakilabot yan habang pinapanood. Kasi, it was it was a bastion of hope. Parang nandun yung pag-asa. Tapos suddenly, yun nga, walang pwedeng pagkapitan yung mga tao. And I think the local leaders, well, ako naman kung hindi ka aligned kay ma'am, parang medyo, yung nag-solid naman yata yung Bicol para sa kanya, no? May yung mga party list lang na medyo nagba-vacillate na oo sa Bicol. Pero it seems like people really believed in her. And yun na, at least solid yung ano. Pero kita mo merong mga bagay at factors na tipong sayang kung na ipagpatuloy at mapagpapatuloy. So are you open to her being a local leader again? Is that one of the things that you're parang eyeing?
Gusto niya po.
Talaga?
Or baka kung gusto niya magpahinga and spend time with her kids, parang I don't think we can ever say no to Madam Leg.
Kasi yun nga, parang when I'm close to the family also of Nonoy and Daya, no? Parang sinasabi nila na siya lang yung pwedeng makapagbuwag ng dynasty doon dyan. So, pero sabi, ayusin yan yung local. Tapos, but it seems like she'll be playing a major role in the reshaping of not only politics but even of social movements, di ba? Parang in the country. So, and we welcome that. It seems like in the fourth level though, yung hindi lang pa kasi level ng bansa, pero kasi level din ng mundo. Yung world tribe, yung collective paradigm ng mga tao for a populist leader. Parang at saka yung technology, no? Parang kinailangan nating intindihin. At one point, yung nandun tayo sa bringing our energy to small acts of deep personal importance. Nandun tayo sa paghahanap nun. And then very practically, I want to hear your views on dealing with burnout. Because it's very real amongst people who were so active during the campaign. Haya, ikaw. What do you tell people na, okay, on the verge or nandun sa point ng burnout?
Ano sir, parang okay lang piliin ang sarili ko. As in, we have to romanticize choosing yourself. Kasi parang yung mga, at least my group of friends po kasi sila Kiel, sila GB, and everyone else. Ano na siya, parang service, palabas lagi. So parang yung like ko sinasabi, hindi na nila kailangan ng reminder na maglingkod. Kailangan nila ng reminder na piliin ang sarili nila. So yun na lang po yung like kong sinasabi. Parang okay lang naman parang you can take a break and then bumalik ka. Trust us, the rest of the community na sasaluhin na magpapatuloy kami kahit wala ka. It comes from there. Kasi hindi naman tayo lang yung solong bayan. Hindi tayo yung solong hero. Magpapatuloy ang movement kahit wala tayo. So, importante na every now and then kapag ubus ka na, piliin mo yung sarili mo and magtiwala that the rest of the community will sasaluhin kung ano man yung naiwan.
No? Oo kasi yun yung gusto natin na lahat, it's an empowered community na naiintindihan yung ritmo mo at may saluhan, may bayanihan. Tama naman yun. Kiel, ikaw, for those people, I don't know if you experience, namangha ako sa'yo, parang hindi ko nakakitaan ng burnout during that particular. Yan, parang yung, kasi wala ka naman choice. Hindi mo ka pwedeng mag-burnout. Kasi ikaw yung nag-i-inspire ng ibang mga kabataan. So, what do you tell them?
Energy. Hindi, ano po.
Right.
Well, dalawang bagay. Una, pwede naman kasing magpahinga. Diba? Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin nun titigil ka na totally. Kung talagang mahalaga para sa'yo, edi okay lang magpahinga tapos pwede naman bumalik. Yung pangalawa po, yung natutunan ko for the past few months talaga ay yung pwede pala ako humingi ng tulong sa iba. No? Na hindi ko parang nung dati mas sinasarili ko kasi parang pakiramdam ko kaya ko lagi. Pero over the past few months, ang dami-daming sources of strength, ang dami-daming sources of hope. Pwedeng humingi ng tulong, pwedeng magpahinga. Yun.
Ay, ganda. So, marami nang mag-a-apply sa'yo afterwards. So, mong yan. James, ikaw?
Siguro, building on what Haya and Kiel have mentioned po. Lahat tayo may sarili-sariling paraan ng pagpapahinga.
That's true.
Yung iba siguro magne-Netflix, sasaya na buhay nila. Yung iba kailangan may uwian na tao. Yung iba kailangan lang matulog pagkatapos ng sortie. Yung mga ganun ba, Sir Noel? Parang pagkilala ng mas deep sa sarili para mas deep din yung engagement natin. Kasi hindi rin tayo makakapagbigay kung wala tayo maibibigay, di ba?
That's true. So, well, to close this, ano yung bisa ng swing na pakikibaka or pag-organisa ngayon when we just went through this debacle, no? or this political exercise or these learnings that we just mentioned. Ano yung bisa nito at ano yung pwedeng patunguhan? Haya, ikaw sa'yo.
Hindi naman po natitigil ang demokrasya sa eleksyon. Parang I think that's something that's very popular kasi in the Philippines, na voting is the ultimate form of democracy. Sa akin po, hindi siya ganun yung perspective ko. Kasi we have time and time again won presidents. Pero sa sector ko, sa transport, hindi naman kami natulungan. Hindi naman na iba na resolve yung mga problema namin. So for me po, mas importanteng parte sa akin ng demokrasya ay yung everything in between every elections. Yung pagpartisipa sa budget session, sa polisiya, pag-organisa ng mga strike, kapag may registered dissent when you don't like the policies of the government. Yun yung sa akin mas importanteng parte ng demokrasya, even if both are important. So kahit po na natalo yung kandidato natin, marami pa rin problema sa transport sector ang kailangan resolbahan. At naniniwala naman po ako na kahit yung mga taga-kabilang bakod, may puso naman sila. Parang game naman sila makipagtrabaho. And we have proven that before, na we can bridge political alliances for common sectoral goals. Kasi kahit naman po sila, parang karang may pinaglalaban din. I know we don't like a lot of them, but a lot of them have valid reasons for supporting Mindanaoans, for trying to put more Davao people in office. Valid po yun. A lot of them have more valid reasons for voting Robin Padilla even, for representing the Muslim minority which never had a seat in the last 20 years. So may mga ganun po at ako naniniwala ako na willing sila makipagtrabaho and a lot of them have already expressed interest. Doon po tayo kakapit.
Sana. Ako nga, it was heartbreaking for me, but at the same time, assuring that some of my closest friends are there on the other side. Ang hirap. At tinisa yan, ha? Yung tipong, sinabi ko lang, huwag niyo ko pakukulong, ha? Or huwag niyo ko pag-iipitan. Pero parang, and you would understand, you just try to understand where they're coming from. And sana hope that things, that they can exert things to a better governance. Sabi ko lang, if there's anything, yung konsensya lang pairalin. Kasi yun lang talaga yung pagpapalawak ng konsensya, yun yung hindi natin makakalimutan. Kaya ikaw, where will this lead you? Will this, our perennial question, no? Will you stay in Angat Buhay, the NGO, or you'll do na your ECE thing, or go artistic?
Well, ako nandun pa rin ako sa finding a way to weave everything together. Kasi andyan na siya no? Parang tingin ko may way naman para ma-involve yung tech dito sa pagtulong sa kapwa, sa social sciences, 'di ba? Parang tech and social sciences and public policy, 'di ba? May way naman para ma-merge.
Nahanap mo ba yan nung kampanya? Kasi nahanap mo rin yan, 'di ba?
May mga pockets of ideas na lumilitaw. So I think slowly na discover ko yan.
Okay. So pwede. There's a way to weave all these concerns. Well, yun na nga So si Kel yung tipong the renaissance person. Trying to weave everything there. James, ikaw, where will this lead you?
Mas na-deepen lang yung resolve ko na pagpatuloy ko sa leadership and services sa field.
That's true.
Kasi na-realize mo rin yung nakataya, tsaka na-realize mo kung bakit mahalaga na nandito ka, manalo man or matalo. Siguro yung pagkatalo na naramdaman natin sa eleksyong to, mas make sense lang natin pag pinagpatuloy nating harapin yung mga pagsubok moving forward. Kahit manalo man or matalo. Hanggang marating na, yun nga, gaya nga ng sabi nung kanta, di tayo magpapahinga hanggang masabi natin na proud sa Philippines.
I have to say that the composer of that song will be with us. It's an Atenista rin, si Nika Del Rosario, and then Rica Perelejo will join her next week for Level Up. But I'll try to end this episode with this. No? May isang quote on activism. things will always be left undone and unsaid. Sakit yung tanggapin, pero totoo. But seeing our activism as one of life stages and phases, rather than as an endless pursuit of things to be done right now, might add some breathing space to our work in the world. And in that space, we might hear what can be done right now to create the beauty and the joy for those who are here and those to come. Ang hirap lang talagang tanggapin nun na tipong, oh, it's really a process. And somehow, we'll just have to take on what's given to us. Ang dami nagsasabi, okay, sige, tingnan muna natin yung mga kabataan, muna sila. Did you have that? Yung tipong, tapos na kami, kayo naman. Or, tumodo kami ngayon. Well, what's your feeling now? You ex-presidents of the Student Council, the tipong, do you have that expectations among young Ateneans now, or there people there who haven't seen the campus? And well, sorry sa inyo, nag face-to-face graduation na sila last weekend. Di ba? You never had that graduation. So, what's your message to them, to our fellow Ateneans na may iwanin?
Sinong mauuna?
Yung pinakabata
JB, go.
Sige.
Pinakamalapit.
Actually, gagraduate naman po ako on-site, Sir Noel.
Agagraduate mo, buti ka pa. All the others
Singit po kami sa graduation this year. Nagbayad na ako ng toga rental.
you actually do the graduation.
Pero ang insight ko pa, Sir Noel, siguro lahat po ng kabataan dumadaan sa phase na yan. Kung saan sinasabihan sila ng mga mas nakatatanda sa kanila na ikaw na ang susunod. Siguro kayo rin naman, Sir Noel, nung bata po kayo.
Totoo naman.
And I guess it speaks of the fact that the work just never stops. That even our generation perhaps will not be able to fully realize our dreams for society, your dreams for society. But then it just speaks of the fact that each of us need to fulfill certain set of responsibilities. Hopefully leave a better world for the next one. So I guess yun lang din yung mensahe ko sa mga susunod na, tanda ko, susunod na generasyon ng mga Atenista. Na parang, wag kayo ma-pressure na kayo ang kailangan magpabuti ng mundo. Dahil hindi rin naman Ateneo ang magpapabuti sa mundo. Hindi naman Atenista magpapabuti sa mundo. At napakalaki ng mundo sa labas ng mga gates nito. Yun lang, gawin mo yung parte mo ng buo ng makakaya mo. At huwag mong kalimutan na hindi ka nag-iisa. May mas malaking komunidad at bansa na handang sumalo at makipagtrabaho kasama ka.
Somehow, those are the words that keep ringing sa isip natin, pero pag naririnig mo yun sa ibang mga tao, parang mas nagiging buhay. Salamat. That's all part of our healing process. Kiel, ikaw?
Ayun, sir. Sa akin, adding to what JB said, I think yung mahalaga rin para sa atin na mga former Sanggo presidents, ay maging present and visible din pa rin for them. Na meron kang Kuya JB, meron kang Ate Haya, may Kuya Kiel ka nakasama sa laban na to. Yung ginagawa yung best para lahat tayo magkaroon pa rin ng space para sa mga pinaglalaban natin. So I'm glad I fought alongside everyone here. And I'm glad na marami pa tayong makakasama sa laban ng mga mas bata pa, mas talented for sure, mas fresh, mas excited.
Yeah. Aya, and the whole episode with your thoughts.
Sa akin, sir, I think importante yung alumni network. So ako, si Kiel, si JB, and everyone else. Kasi when you're in Ateneo, you usually organize sa loob ng campus. Yes. Pero kami pagkatapos nito sa labas na kami nag-o-organize eh. Si JB sa labas na rin siya mag-o-organize. So importante na maging panel kami na mag-organize yung mga tao who are currently in Ateneo sa labas. So we usually parang nag-aaya kami lagi, halika mag-organize ka sa transport kahit na estudyante ka pa. Kasi wala namang transport organization, iba yung realidad on the ground. And kung wala silang access on Ateneo student organizations organizing that issue, kasi syempre medyo protektado din yung konteksto ng Ateneo orgs. Halika, doon tayo sa labas. Dito naman kami for you. Alam namin yung repercussions, alam namin, siguraduhin namin na aalagaan ka namin at ligtas to. So, hindi ka namin ipapahamak. You can pass as sumama kasama mag-organize sa labas.
Yun yung gusto mo bang sumama, no? Pero yun nga yung responsibilidad din natin sa kanila. Lahat ng niyakag nating sumama sa atin, kailangan nating balikan at sabihin, okay lang, nandito rin lang kami. And in the end, yung bumabalik na image sa akin, yung wounded healers, we're all wounded here in this battle, but we have to heal each other, help each other to heal. So maraming salamat. These are very, very assuring words from you. And then we'll always go back to this. This is our support group, and then it gives us that hope na, okay, hindi nawawala sa ating lahat. So, yun, maraming salamat tayo, maraming salamat Kel at JB, at magkikita-kita pa din tayo. So, this is another very, very good episode of Level Up. And then, sige, ika-cut naman na to. So, next week we'll have Rica Perelejo and Nika Del Rosario here on Level Up. Ngayon, pwede na natin pag-usapan yung love life weekend. Tapos na.
Feeling ko kailangan ng isang episode dyan, Sir Noel. Kailangan ng isang episode.
Mga katipuneros, it's time to level up! Your talk variety program showcasing the best in media and other fields. As we feature the most loved personalities and the best practices of what we truly refer to as Magis. Together with multi-awarded multimedia guru Mr. Noel Ferrer, let's all level up every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.